Hey, and welcome back to my Thoughts On series, where I provide my opinions on your questions. If you want one of these for free, at the beginning of every month on Twitter, I do there's a weekly window. The first week of every month, you can ask me, you can add me on Twitter at Miasma Senpai and ask me whatever you want, and I'll try and make a video about it. Not gonna be a ton of research going on here or whatever. If you can, please join the Patreon. There's going to be a link down below. At the $5 tier, you get access to my Discord server, and you can ask me whatever you want pretty much at any time. And, be in more contact with me and a couple other rewards and stuff like that. Today's question is for Warpbait, who asks, what are your thoughts on manga versus anime? Which media do you prefer, and why? I think I've touched on this, at least in a live chat or something in the past. I think my opinion is I don't want to say wavering, but it's sort of like I used to just be an anime guy. Because I just never really delved into manga for a long time. I've comparatively, I've watched anime, albeit sometimes inconsistently, since mid to late 2000s. I've only read manga consistently since 2015 maybe. I remember the first manga I ever read was Volume 1 of Claymore, which I still own, and my mom got me that at some Barnes and Noble whenever that came out. It was relatively new because it's definitely the oldest, one of the older manga that I own. But in terms of having the volume, I've had it on the shelf the longest, and I read that but just never really got into any more. I was never a Shonen Jump guy. I didn't really know that even existed until I met a friend in middle school who was subscribed to it, and then by then I could just if I wanted to see shit, I would just look at his copies of Shonen Jump. But I was always, because I was anime first, that was sort of the avenue that I went about it and sort of have continued to go about it for the most part. But I do, since 2015 or so, I do have a high appreciation for manga, especially because a lot of the time in anime, and I think a lot of anime fans can relate to this, it's kind of just advertising the manga, and you don't necessarily get the best ending. It might feel rushed. Things might not necessarily make sense. But with manga, usually you're going to get a more complete story unless it got canceled or something like that. It's usually the thing that's out first, because anime is typically an adaptation of the previous work. It is the original work. If you want to see the work in its original form, I guess, manga is the way to go. For me, it's more so I like to see the completed story, or at least the continuation. So the first manga that I ever completed, the series, the first manga that I ever finished was Dead Man Wonderland. And that was years after I watched the anime. Probably 2 years after I watched the anime. And I remember the anime was so... I liked it a lot and thought it was cool. And then the ending of... If you've ever seen the Dead Man Wonderland ending of the anime, it's kind of a big middle finger. It sort of ends on this cliffhanger kind of thing. It's really rushed. And then it goes to this OVA episode, which tells the backstory of how another character gets involved in what's going on and does not give you a solid conclusion whatsoever. So for years that kind of sat inside my heart there. And then when I said I wanted to get into manga, that was one of the ones that I definitely wanted to get into. I had also seen what the covers had looked like. And if you've never seen them, the covers for Dead Man Wonderland are black, white, so it looks like a prison uniform on your shelf, which is really, really cool. The manga does have great art, even within, too. So it's and it's a good manga. It's really good. I highly recommend it. It actually has an ending. It has a very interesting ending. Sort of divisive amongst people, from what I've heard. I thought it was really good. I liked it. It was an enjoyable experience, more enjoyable than the anime. I would say if you're into Dead Man Wonderland, I would probably just check out the manga. And I don't usually say that about a lot of things because I do like the color aspect of anime. I like the movement, the action of anime. The fact that I don't have to like sit there and read. Yes, I'm complaining about sitting there and reading something. I know that's a very much a first world problem, but I kind of want the stuff on the screen moving and different stimulating my entertainment, right? In a myriad of ways other than me sort of just like reading, looking at the picture, reading, looking at the picture. Like I like the sound, I like the music in anime, I love the OPs, some of the EDs, some of the background music. You don't get that in manga. You don't get all the production. Conversely, in defense of manga, it generally looks better because it feels like it's more of a craft. It feels like when you see these drawings, it feels like more passion was put into it. And I don't know. I think like I've been trying to go back into the Inuyasha manga for a bit because that's my favorite anime of all time, the first anime I ever saw. And while the character designs are very different in the manga than they are in the show, I still very much appreciate it because while the character designs like aren't what I'm used to, they still look really good, and they're on point in a lot of scenes, and they're like consistent. Which, they 193 episode anime, there's gonna be some shortcuts, and there are, but you don't really get that in the manga. Vinland Saga, big example of one that I would also say probably go manga for, because it's ongoing. And while I think there will be another season of the anime, and I think Studio Wit did a good job with this recent adaptation, I'm still more entertained by the anime. And it's hard to sort of pinpoint. I think it just flows better. I think it's the action tends to look a lot better in the manga. There's some weird CG bits in the anime that look kind of scuffed, in my opinion. But they did a good. I think they did a good job with what they had in the Vinland Saga anime adaptation. So I would recommend that, but I would say do what I'm doing and get farther ahead in the manga because I'm on book, I think, 8 of Vinland Saga, and it's fucking amazing. I would consider it probably my favorite manga of all time. Again, haven't delved into an exorbitant number of manga to really like have this top 100 list or something like that, but I would say out of the ones that I've read, Vinland Saga is probably the best one. I highly recommend it, especially if you just came off the anime. Like, don't wait just for the next season. Go into the manga. Just do it. Just do yourself a favor. It's really good. I can't pinpoint exactly where it leads off. I want to say in like books 3 or 4, but I could be wrong about that. Do some research on that first. Or if you don't care about saying the same stuff again, just go with the manga. Just start from the beginning. I don't think you're gonna regret it. In terms of like debate, I think it's sort of annoying how sometimes you get one fan group saying, "Oh, this is the anime is so much better, the manga is so much better," as if it's. I don't think one is always superior to the other. I think that you can have something that might be a cool manga, but would look sort of better in color, like. So, like, I guess with Noragami, I would say this is one where I wanted to continue the story, and the 2 seasons of the anime only covered, like, a certain amount. But while the manga, like, looks good, and it obviously tells much more of the story, I still want to see that, like, animated. Like, I'd rather see that. I'd rather see Yato and shit, like fighting stuff, like, in an animated form. Like, I don't think I would really read the Naruto manga that much because I kind of most of the time with action stuff I want to see it animated. Like I want to hear it. I want the full aesthetic experience. And so with manga, I kind of want more sort of more down to earth or even funny, something like Watamote, where it's just like it's funny or cringy, or Akunohana, the Flowers of Evil, where it's not actiony. It is very much a psychological drama kind of thing. And I know I'm saying this even though I said Vinland Saga and I complimented its action, but I think that's why Vinland Saga stands out to me so much is because I'm gonna say the action looks better in black and white than it does with Wit's animation. It's so cool, and within the Vinland Saga manga, you get so many like additions. You get like there's a lot of like author's notes about like how he did this research on like Viking culture and stuff like that, and he questions a lot of things. Makoto Yukimura, he'll have pages where he's like, when I was thinking about drawing the scene, I really wondered how they fit this much stuff in the room or something. Or he's like, I wonder how their father-son relationships actually were, and stuff like that. And you get some cool insight with that. You don't really get that in an anime. There's cool maps as to Thorfinn's travels throughout the series, which is pretty cool. So, you know, for the most part, if it's actiony, I want to see it animated. And if that animation's kind of meh, then maybe I'll go with the manga. But if it's more a low key kind of thing, I will probably go manga, and then maybe check out the anime adaptation, because not a lot of the time am I like severely disappointed by the anime adaptation. But I think as I watch more manga, that will probably occur. One that I've had on the shelf forever and haven't actually gotten around to reading is Full Metal Alchemist. Like, I've seen the original series, I've seen Brotherhood several times. I have all the volumes of the manga on my shelf, and I've read like one maybe. And it's just something I've pushed back forever because I kind of want to do that comparison. But I'm sure that they're both great. So, long story short, I guess I like manga, I like anime. You can like what you want. I would recommend liking both. I think if you think that you only like one, you probably need to maybe check out more of the other. But, you know, it's your life. You know, live how you want to, be enjoyed by what you think is enjoyable. So, yeah, thanks for watching. My name is Miasma. I'll see you next time.